and welcome all of you to my YouTube channel Animals and Pets with Partha. Today I bring you the story of the transition of the British club from the British era to the Indian times. When British left India, there were few important cities in India, and in those cities they had started a lot of social clubs, sporting clubs, which were British controlled. And not only that, those clubs had restricted membership. Mainly, it was the British who were allowed as members, and then the others, there were a few Indians who were actually had adopted the British culture and were close to the British people. They were allowed to be members, and some Rajas and Maharajas and the Nawabs. Calcutta is, of course, holds its own pride of place, because it was the oldest settlement of the British in India with the East India Company. And then they had started here a lot of social clubs and sporting clubs, like the Calcutta Club, the Saturday Club, the sort of Outram Club, the International Club, and then you have the Swimming Club, the Trolley Club, and the rest. Of course, all these clubs had other sporting activities, from tennis and other things, in other indoor sports, but they were also had started clubs like the Calcutta Kennel Club, and also other than that they had the Greyhound Club and the rest. The Greyhound Club, of course, had its own greyhound racing course in Behala, which has been converted into a housing complex, as I mentioned in my earlier episode. Well, that housing complex still has the name, that Greyhound Racing Course Housing Complex. So that reminds of the British time, and then the glory that the dog world has enjoyed in the earlier days of the British era. Then what happened? These clubs that were controlled, the social clubs, similarly the Calcutta Kennel Club or the dog world was also controlled by the British. So when they left it to a few Indians who were actually involved in the dog world in those days. There was one Captain James Banerjee, and then of course we had other people like Mr. Ojoy Bose. We had people like Mr. R.P. Mitter, who was my mentor, of course. And other than that, there were several other people who were also associated with the dog world in the British time. So they took over the club. But, the dress code and the rest, and the sort of the restriction in membership that the British left, or when the British left, it all didn't end immediately. So it took some time before it adapted to the Indian situation, and they allowed people as members. So most of the clubs that you see, the social clubs, they have all become Indianized, and you have a lot of Indian members who can really pay and become members of the club. Of course, they have certain criteria, but they are all allowed. But the Kennel Club, which of course, though it opened up to a few people, but then even there are only a couple of hundred people who actually control this club, and they have made sure that they will not allow people to become members, because otherwise they will have to give them the opportunity to pursue becoming a judge, or maybe run clubs or do other things, or even vote. So what they have done, they have just on their own, they have realized that because the Indians now, lakhs and lakhs of Indians across the country have become enlightened, and dog game the pet world in India is one of the fastest growing in the world at the moment, because a lot of Indians are enlightened. If you look at this massive population of India, which is a democracy, when everybody is free to sort of pursue whatever they want, provided they have money. And here people are becoming rich by the day, because there are new rich people who are emerging all across the country with new enterprises and all the opportunities that the government are providing in this country. But then there is a restriction in the membership of the club, because it has gone to the hands of the syndicate, and they control the member. So they have rules whereby they can reject anybody, and only people now they are what you see, as you have already seen that there's a big scam in Bengal where there is crores and crores of rupees are being unearthed because all the jobs that were government jobs, they were all being sold for huge sums of money. So here again, the in the dog world, of course, means even the membership is going at a premium. So you have to bribe people to finally go to the stage where you can pay. And when the membership, which was actually a couple of hundred rupees, has now gone up to 50,000 some odd rupees. So you got to not only pay the bribe, you got to pay that money to become just a member. And once you become a member, then only you can pay. So what has happened is, now the real aspiring people who have actually worked their way into the dog world and have gathered knowledge and actually spend time in this game are overtaken by people who have the money, but then they don't have the knowledge. So what they know is, I pay the money, I pay the bribe, I become a member, and the next stage is I start bribing, and I take control, I have clubs. But then where they fail is, they do not have the requisite knowledge to sort of run a club, a dog club, and properly. And then not only that, they don't have the knowledge to become a dog judge. So what has happened is, they have utilized their influence, or they have most of them, some of them of course have gone there on their merit, and they are doing brilliantly. They are appreciated internationally, and of course it's open to all that some judges do make the international mark, and some of them amongst them are of course sought after even internationally and regarded well. But then majority of this new generation of judges, what they are coming up, they've actually managed the syndicate which is actually running this show, with the help of some of his sycophants across this country. And the syndicate made sure that his sycophants are not knowledgeable at all. Most of them do not belong to the dog fraternity in a big way. They must be small fries in the dog game who are actually only dependent upon the syndicate for their existence in this sport. If you look at Calcutta, if you look at the city, if you look at the clubs, and you look at the people who are running it, in the distant past, you will not see that they have kept any dogs, or they were ever involved with good dogs. But these are the people handpicked who are actually nobody in the dog world, and who have no sort of clout or control in the game. They have actually been given the sort of the mantle, or given the made them in charge of the dog world in major cities of this country. So what has resulted is, these people, including the syndicate, they are only interested in minting money, because India is empowered now, and you have new rich people coming up every day. There are lakhs and lakhs of thousands and thousands of hundreds of people who are becoming rich by the day, because there are new enterprises. India is empowered. There are so much of opportunities for people to start businesses, then the internet, then of course the IT sector, etc., gives a huge amount of opportunity for people to become empowered and rich. And these rich people, of course, would like to own dogs, would like to own pets, would like to have luxuries that earlier generations that could not afford to do. Well, it's all good because we are growing. But then what happens is, the club is still kept in that old stage. Only a couple of hundred people controlling the largest democracy in the world, where the dog game is, if it is let loose, would be the biggest dog game in the world. Well, that is not allowed. So what is happening is it's controlled, and then people have to pay for everything. And it's only in lakhs that has to be dealt. So there are few people who are minting money, and all the awards in the dog shows are all predetermined. And the judges who are being invited from all over Europe and other countries nowadays are all fixed. Means they are told what to do before they come, and then once a batch of judges go back, then through them they book other judges, and everybody knows who is what. They look up social network and all that, social media, and then they're all told by the clubs and the syndicate that these are the dogs to be put up. So that is how the dog game, and these people who are actually the beneficiaries, who have lots and lots of money, they are paying handsomely to the organizers, and through the organizers, the syndicate is also making the money. So this is a very vicious chain, and we all need to break it. But then there's a ray of hope. There is a silver lining to everything. All bad things must end someday, and the syndicate cannot go on forever. So the court has intervened, and there is lot of you must all be knowing that there are a lot of instructions by the court, and the corruption has been detected, and money has been asked to be returned. Hope things will improve, and the club will come and start functioning again with a new committee who would put the dog game into the right tracks, and will give equal opportunities and a level playing ground for all passionate dog lovers. And the other great thing is people have understood that they can start new clubs. So you have, of course, the Indian National Club, which is a very old organization and has been doing excellently over the last 65-70 years. They are, of course, gearing up, and they are modernizing all the systems. Then you have the United Kennel Club, which is opening up in all parts of the country, and the dog game is really growing. There is an opportunity in this country for lots of clubs to be started, and the game has a bright future. With these words, I end for today, and I will bring you more news in my forthcoming episodes. I would be requesting you to please subscribe to my channel, and also press on the bell button so that you are intimated for all my new videos that I upload from time to time. And like and share among animal loving friends. I'm, of course, committed to bring you news from all the clubs, all the organizations involved in dogs and other pet animals across India and around the world. So, of course, it will take time. We are building up. We are already about 150 episodes old, and I'm very much happy to tell you that we have made a lot of progress over this time. We have a set sort of viewership who look forward to our episodes, and I'm indeed grateful to them to be supporting me and the cause of the animals and pets in this country. Thank you, and bye-bye.